Weekend. Coming at you.
They'll get rowdy in that bag really quick.
Oh, yeah, I know. Got the chocolate ones, too.
Yeah, dude. I like these better than the normal ones.
For you guys just joining us, we're talking about animal crackers.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. For first-time listeners, it's Infinite Weekend with Zach and Josh. Episode 39.
Oh, I like the little tagline. With Zach and Josh.
With Zach and Josh, yeah.
Like we're...
ZJ. Well, I am famous.
That's true.
I have semi-famous friends.
You're famous by proxy.
I have semi-famous friends of Instagram.
Right. And I'm famous by proxy by proxy.
Exactly. No, I actually told... I've said this, I don't know, like on 15 different episodes, but it's paying off. I told you this is my year.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Things have been going great. A lot of cool conversations going on. Starting to become a little more natural. It's kind of cool. I do.
Sounds like you're a.
I sound like
you're a spy and you're infiltrating.
I'm infiltrating a
group,
a unique group of folks.
Right.
That I feel like I'm in their bubble, but I'm just too far away to blow in that direction.
Like the FBI or CIA is going to be listening to this podcast because, of course, they do. They listen to everything, and they're like, oh, "He's got talent. We're going to bring him in.
He's got what we're looking for.
He knows how to infiltrate."
Yeah, which is yeah. So it's pretty cool. I do have a feeling. I'm only going to say this once. I do have a feeling if I was geographically closer, it would have already happened.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it would have. I actually told one of them the other day. I was like, if I was closer, I would come play with y'all. Like it would be dope. Because there again, I've said this before. I don't want anything. Like I'm not looking for money or like I'm not a beggar. I don't want Instagram fame. I just want to eat my animal crackers and hang out with cool people.
Maybe you should venture out, look for a job in that area, and then more in the metro area.
I don't want to live where these people live.
Well, you don't have to live there. You can live in the burbs.
Well, they're mostly out in Cali. I'm not moving to California.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah. But, okay. But if you lived in the Nashville area, it would probably be better.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, it's fine.
You know what I mean?
It's fine. Oh, what I was telling you earlier, being in your 30s, and I'm a hypochondriac, which now everyone knows that's listening. You know,
past few weeks you've been dying.
I thought I was dying. So, well, I mean, when I turned 30, I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
Thought I had like 2 weeks. That's why I bought all that cool shit. I'm literally making the biggest mess right now. My goodness, I'm so far.
Just kick them on the floor. Roomba will get it in the morning. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Room.
I call him, I think it's Wally. I think I call that one Wally. And the litter robot, I think I call it Johnny 5.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, so I had blood work and stuff done, and it was all, like, great. And then I, like, relaxed, and everything got back to normal. Mm-hmm. Like, I started, and then, of course, there I was, like, really leaning out. I was like, oh, great. Of course, immediately when someone says, hey, you look like you're losing weight, I'm like, okay, immediately I have cancer.
When you were also like suspicious of everything you ate.
That's correct. Yeah. Terrified. Literally. It was horrible, dude. So it's all fucked up. But anyways, come to find out, if you just relax. And what's weird is like the whole time I'm thinking this wild shit, I already don't eat bad as it is. And I try to exercise every day. Like, I don't have bad habits that I'm trying to like kick the curb on. Mm-hmm. It's not like I've been smoking 6 packs a day since I was 12. And I'm like, I just can't figure it out. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm just a freak. And then things have been great last several weeks since I've got that done.
Kind of wild because I am the opposite of that. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, but you're pretty lax.
I don't eat like a trash can.
No, but you're a lax dude too. Like,
pretty good.
You're kind of like, eh.
But I'm even keel. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
So like, you're in way, like, just if you look on paper, your numbers would be way better than mine.
I'm just saying.
But I wasn't having all that.
Yeah, but like, you're
all mental.
You're relaxed stress man, which I have a new stress management on my Fitbit. Okay, yeah. Asks me every day how I'm feeling. Yeah. And it's kind of like, this guy really knows me, my watch. So I get on there and you can put like calm, neutral, fucked up, help me, call 911.
Is that actually like helped where if you're like able to monitor your stress levels, you're aware to like catch it before it gets too far?
So I bought a blood pressure cuff as well. Because that's another big thing too, is like if you have, because I already have like not anger problems, but I can fly off the handle really fast in a situation. Yeah, exactly. It was tattooed on my leg. So I bought a cuff because I thought I was dying. I was like, well, it all ties into it. Like, this is great. So I bought one. I have one now if you ever need one. It works great. So I have one of those to monitor. But
I'll get you up when I'm 65.
Yeah. Right. I'm getting a colonoscopy machine as well. So when you turn 40, we'll be able to do that in my basement. No, so my Fitbit's great because I want to track my heart rate. So I can track my heart rate, my oxygen too when I'm sleeping, my sleeping pattern, which that's my favorite thing is my sleeping patterns.
That is kind of cool.
It is cool.
I didn't realize because I had a Fitbit that did that a long time ago. Now my Samsung watch does it too.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know that you actually how often you actually like quote wake up.
That is correct.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah,
I had
so
no idea.
There's like light sleep, there's REM of course, and there's the deep sleep, and there's awake. It clocks in your awake time.
Yeah.
Right. You don't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't remember it.
Yeah. So it does that. So I think that it's nice having it because when I'm checking my heart rate, so when I'm at the gym, I know I can see what my target heart rate is like for burning fat or calories, whatever I'm working out. And then when I'm riding motorcycles too, I can see what it's like if we're in the woods for however long, I can see if it's like 110, 107, whatever. But I'll go, and then when I'm resting, I can monitor too. So it kind of just makes me a little more conscious about it. So then I feel better by knowing. I don't know, like I've tried not to dive too far into it. Like I don't have like a regular heart rate or anything like that. That's not why I bought one. But I like it to have all that. It's just neat. It does my steps. My favorite part is how many calories I burn.
Yeah.
And I don't know I haven't done the homework to like how accurate it is.
Fairly accurate.
I imagine it's pretty ballpark, pretty close. Even if we're off by 10 to whatever.
Yeah. Especially if you get into the app and you like set your parameters so it knows your height.
That's what I did.
Like
Yeah.
Then it's
so
pretty accurate.
What's crazy is for a while there, I didn't feel like I was eating enough because I went from where I was trying to hold a certain weight. Well, like I normally am not that heavy. So it started coming down. Well, I started feeling shitty. I was like, something's not right. And I was eating almost too neat, not enough. So I found out like on an average day, I'll burn almost like 31 to 3,200 calories on a workout day.
Really?
Yeah. Like according to my watch, like 2,800 is my average.
Fuck, that's higher than
my day.
Than the average.
It's, yeah. And then sometimes it's 2,300. So I'm like, I have to fucking eat. So I wasn't eating enough to even balance. So I started increasing my eating back again after I knew I wasn't dying. And I started feeling better. So yeah, like it's wild, man. Like I mean, just for example, like today I've burned 1,750. It's not a lifting day for me or anything like that. And I haven't, yesterday I was on my feet all day.
So you burn like almost 1,000 calories?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you burn calories just being awake.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying if you're
I'll show you.
If you're at 1,700 right now, you probably hit 2,000 by the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
But you say you do 3,200 on most days?
Yeah, look, here's my average. 25, 26. That one right there was 3,100. 1,720 that day on a slower, like on the weekends or whatever on those. But yeah, like 17, 2,000, 2,800, 3,100.
I just didn't realize how much you're actually burning on a workout.
Yeah. Last week, Saturday, I lost 3,400 calories I burned.
I mean, is that how? Because I mean, I've done workouts before, and I don't remember burning like 1,000.
This is the whole day, though. That's the whole day.
Part, but like
as far as me lifting, I don't know what I would be burning in a 45-minute lift. I don't know.
That's what
for me, because everybody's so different. I might burn more. You might burn. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
But I dig I'm not like plugging Fitbit or anything, but I know they've been around for a long time. I've just never been involved in them, but I do like it. It's it was $99 on Amazon, which I know everybody's smartwatch and stuff will do. Speaking of REM sleeping and all that stuff, have you ever had a dream where it's really intense and you wake up from it and you think it really happened and you start like looking for that person?
Oh yeah.
So I'm comparing it to if you have...
Most time I'll have one and I'll wake up and I'll have a feeling of embarrassment because
so embarrassment.
whenever I did my dream, I embarrassed myself.
Or you have one like where you're dating. Let's say you're dating someone, you wake up and you think they dream cheated on you.
Yeah.
I had one of those the other day.
Oh yeah.
I woke up mad looking for Kylie. I was fucking pissed. I'll tell you what happened. So I was in this dream. There's like random people in your dream, like because you've talked about before, where you can't consciously create a person. Right. It's either pieces of someone you know from wherever. Well, we were in a house. It wasn't ours, just a house. It was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning. It felt like
right.
And I was really in this dream. But usually it's me sword fighting or flying a spaceship or blowing shit up. It's
combination of all.
Or all the movies we watch. So whatever, or a combination. Yeah, if you get lucky. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I look over and there's a woman on a couch, like in her underwear and a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, I've seen that. It's not,
right.
I was like, okay. And I look over and I'm kind of looking and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden someone said something, and in my dream, my wife had blown some dude I knew. like a friend of mine. And I remember it verbatim. So I didn't catch in the act. I'm not saying that. It wasn't that kind of dream. But
you knew it had happened.
It had just went down.
Right.
Like this is after.
Like that's the weird thing about dreams. Like even if you don't see stuff happen, you feel like you did see it happen, even though you didn't see it happen.
Yeah. So my mind, like in the dream, I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, you told me no yesterday, but then you blew my friend. I said, bullshit. I'm sleeping with your girl over here now. I just like went full weird ghetto mad. I was just furious in this dream. I wanted to kill everyone. I was like, this is bullshit. You tell me no this one time, and then this dude, he wasn't even that good looking. I don't understand what's going on here.
Right.
And I woke up, and I was just like, my heart rate was up, and I was like, oh, shit. And I was in the basement. I fell asleep in the basement. I went upstairs, and I was like, excuse me, where's he at? But no, I didn't say that. But yeah, I woke up, because she's had one of those too, like where you wake up, and you're like, hope it was worth it. You're like, what? And you're like, yeah, hope she was worth it. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. In my dream last night, you slept with that chick. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hilarious how your mind works.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm trying to think if I did, I don't remember, but I don't know.
I've never had one of those.
I've never had one of those like that.
Well, we married 10 years in October. I've never had that.
Right.
Unreal. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
Kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit.
Yep.
How you would react. I didn't have a space gun or anything. I was hoping to have like some kind of, what do the kids call it? Lights a beam sword?
Vaporize the dude.
Or her.
Check you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny hat. So that's kind of what happened the last couple of days with me.
Yeah. Thought you were dying. Found out you weren't.
I test rode 2 motorcycles this week.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about starting a YouTube channel where I test ride bikes and give people info.
Reviews?
Because I am considered a semi-intermediate professional bike rider. So
is that an official title?
That's my official title. I'm assistant to the regional manager. Yeah, so I told my friend that the sales player, I was like, you should let me do that. Like, I test ride all the bikes. I said, I'll do full write-ups, videos, whatever, and plug them in on your channel.
Got an idea. I got an idea.
After the show?
No.
Don't let people steal our ideas.
That's true. We probably shouldn't let people steal our ideas. But whatever. There's, 50 people listening?
I'm really crunching.
And I'm assuming our audience is not entrepreneurial minded. So
those 16 from Vegas are.
Yeah, maybe
they're making their way. You know what I mean?
But what if if that's a good idea with the we talked about doing the one sip thing, right, with the coffee.
Yeah, one sip.
That's a good one. But still is a good idea.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the bikes thing, which is definitely more your speed. I'm going to get a bike too eventually. I just need to get my license.
Kylie told me today that she thinks it's a part of my soul, and that's why I'll go bankrupt buying bikes.
Probably. Buying things with motors, yes.
Well,
so what if you combine the two? You know how what's his face? Seinfeld has the
comedians in cars
getting coffee.
Yeah, let's stop there. I don't want anyone to stash this up.
But you get what I'm saying?
It takes one listener to snatch this shit. I want to be pissed.
You see where I'm going?
I see where you're going. I want to see where it's going to go.
I think we could. That
all right.
Would be fun as shit.
It would be fun as shit.
We could do it on the weekend.
It'd be like a vlog, a moto vlog.
Yes.
Yeah. And
then we incorporate, like we have a destination that we're going to. Yeah. Right? That way we can document the ride. You could do your
I know
whole
what you're
thing.
doing, and I love it.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I like this idea.
You just earned yourself a mountain goat.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Enjoy. They're low in calories. I think one serving is 60. 60 sheep.
Calories?
Well,
and one cookie?
Yeah, but if you do 60 jackrabbits, it's more calories.
Gotcha.
Or whatever the fuck that is. I think it's a Kodiak bear.
I think so. That's because it's brown.
Know. What? Yeah.
I like the chocolate ones. I haven't had chocolate ones.
Yeah, they're kind of subtle. Got them at Walmart.
I'm into back whenever I was, CrossFitter of sorts.
I would never say you were a CrossFitter. You were just a gym goer.
No, when I was an
active young man.
An obstacle course racer.
We'll call you an intermediate semi-professional obstacle course runner.
Okay, yes,
got it.
I ate a lot of those.
They're wonderful.
They're great. They're light.
And light.
They'll satisfy the crunch and the sugar.
Nothing pairs better with that steak you just ate than animal crackers.
And a chocolate animal crackers.
If anything, you should have sprinkled some on the top.
I'd probably just
give it a
them
crust.
Up, right?
Yeah.
I actually sauteed them in the pan with right.
I actually didn't order a steak for dinner probably until I was 22, 23 years old.
Really?
I actually order one. Order a steak from a restaurant. I was always a chicken guy. I had steaks like big cookouts, but I would never would like order a steak. Mm-hmm. You kind of I felt more adult like after I did that. Like, how do you want that cooked, sir? I'm like, fuck. So many questions.
Yeah, I think I'm probably still a bit bigger chicken guy. Chicken's easy.
I do ground turkey a lot.
There's a lot more you can do with chicken.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You mix it and stuff. Like there's a lot different more ways to eat chicken.
Yeah.
Steak is kind of steak.
It's steak,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can kind of do it in a lot of dishes like you do chicken, but it's just not the same. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I am making progress on my carnivore journey, if you will. I think I'm about 80-20 at this point. I don't even eat really hardly any vegetables. The only vegetables I've really been eating, if any, is root vegetables.
Yeah.
Like potato.
Did you watch Limitless with Chris Hemsworth on Disney Plus? That was Garrett and my dad. You need to watch that. You'll like it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's pretty wild, dude. Apparently, he's a stressed out bug. You need to watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm on through episode 1, but they binged it. But my dad's favorite, Dr. Peter Attia, or I'm going to say that wrong, Peter Attia, big time nutritionist and longevity and just overall expert of all the things. Mm-hmm. But he talks about fasting. A lot of it's good for you, like doing a 4-day fast. Oh, yeah. Apparently, it resets your system. You just do water, I've done an 8 to 12 and 16-hour fast, to kind of reset yourself. Mm-hmm. But eventually, apparently, that dude did it for several days and was like, fine, hey, I'm getting a little too thin. You got to put some incorporates. But they started doing some 8 to 10, 12, 16-hour fasts.
Well, my shit's so all over the place.
It's supposed to help reset it.
I don't have such a fine-tuned routine when it comes to eating to where a reset would make sense. But
it helps you start over. It gets it all back on track.
Right. I've heard people the fasting thing. The logic behind that, because I've heard that before, is that your body will only make changes under stress.
That's correct.
So if you're putting it under stress is what that is, and then it's like, hey, all right, we haven't had food in 2 days. We don't know how long this is going to be. Your body is saying that to yourself and says, all right, go and start eating scar tissue and fat and all this extra shit that's been around in your body, and it's like a detox because your body is starving for something to
sustenance
to eat. So that's what I've heard. That's the benefits of that, and it makes sense. I don't know. I'm not there yet where I could do a 4-day fast. Obviously.
I wouldn't do a 4, but I've done 12-hour fasts. Well, or just don't eat till noon, and then between noon and 6.
So I've done that. Like I said, I haven't been very consistent. There's so many different ways to do it. And I think they're all kind of valid because I've heard people doing, they'll do the fast, but in order for that to work, you have to it has to be outside of your normal routine, right? So if you have to eat breakfast normally, and then you do a fast, it makes sense. But if you don't eat breakfast like I didn't for the longest time, then a 12-hour fast is not going to do anything because my body is used to that. It knows the routine already. And then I've heard people doing where, like Andrew Tate talked about, where he did this, where he eats one time a day, period, end of story. All he does is drink water and he drinks coffee and then he eats at night and that's it. And he has a 2,000 calorie meal at night.
Sounds like Crunk. Right. Except his is like Jolly Ranchers and Gushers and then a Mountain Dew with creamer. Right.
That's too much. But I'm getting better routine about it now. You saw I was boiling eggs, right? So I do 2 eggs in the morning. That gets me. And honestly, this week, I started this new job and we went out to lunch a lot and had some, vendor lunches and meeting people.
You can eat smart.
Well, yeah, and everybody was like, let's get some apps for the table. I'm like, oh, yeah, mozzarella sticks. So I just went fucking crazy.
You got a blooming onion? Anything fried, I'll have it.
Exactly. I partake in everything. And so this week wasn't great, but even I could even tell whenever during lunch, I'd order something because I was eating breakfast now. More consistently than I have in the past with those 2. I mean, just those 2 eggs is all I needed. 2 eggs, coffee and water is all I have. And just 1 coffee. I don't overload on caffeine. And
pussy.
Right. And I noticed that I had this inkling. I was like, I feel like I'm just eating lunch just because it's the ritual thing to do. Yeah. I'm not even really hungry at lunchtime. Is that weird? I feel like I could probably get away with just doing breakfast and just doing dinner and just skip lunch entirely. I don't really need it.
I eat whatever makes me feel good. Yeah. I have to have a certain amount of calories or whatever. But yeah, I just want to feel good. I don't want to feel like shit.
That's my thing.
That's all. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, everybody already knows it.
I can tell after I've eaten, and now that like I said, I've been eating more meat and less everything else.
Yeah.
It's been primarily meat. I'll eat a little bit of rice. I'll have maybe a vegetable or two, maybe. And like I said, it's like a potato or sweet potato or something like that. So now that I've been kind of doing that for the past few weeks, I notice whenever I have something with a lot of like bread, I can feel it. It like weighs on me. I can feel like I can feel like the brain fog kick in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm on the right track, and there's some validity to that.
Getting older sucks.
Well, yeah, I know.
Dude.
That's part of it.
Like,
I just cannot go at the pace that I was able to go, and it's like, yeah, we joke about when you turn 30, but still, I had some energy going on there. At some point after 35 is when it really hit me.
I haven't lost any energy. I will say, I'm sore than I used to be. Probably, I can still. I don't have a loss of energy, but I do that. Usually, I mean, I stay pretty sore most of the time anyways, just because you just never really stop.
Work out all the time.
You just really never stop. And there'll be a day, but like, if you wake up you do wake up a little stiffer. So I have to stretch a lot more than I used to, obviously. But like, I feel like probably stronger in my 30s than I did in my 20s, probably.
Yeah.
I will say that. But I do also require more sleep as well. Yeah. Obviously, I think that comes with everybody. But yeah, being in your 30s which I'm not midway. I turned 33 in May. So you're a little more midway than me, but I'm still like, I mean, you're not that far ahead of me. So
yeah, like I said, I think it's not when you turn 30. It's like when you're well into your 30s. And I notice it's little things can make a big difference. Like you would think that just making sure that you're asleep at the same time. Mm-hmm. If you delay that, I feel like if I delay my sleep, even if I have the same amount of sleep, like I'm going to wake up later, I feel like if I don't go to sleep by, if I go to sleep at 11:30 as opposed to 10 o'clock, I can, even though I'm still getting 7-8 hours, the same amount of sleep, just because I delayed it, I feel like I feel worse in the morning. And other things like I've heard that someone talking about coffee. If you get up and you drink coffee immediately, apparently it suppresses this chemical that's in your brain that needs to. It tells
your body to wake up.
Yeah, it needs to go through its process. It needs to filter out. You need to wait 90 minutes before you actually take caffeine. Otherwise, it suppresses that natural process. And then when the caffeine wears off, then that natural process kicks back in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're like dragging ass. I noticed that actually I can tell whenever that happens. So it's like as the older you get, the smaller changes actually have a bigger impact.
Yeah, so
you didn't notice when you were in 20.
Also, when you think about that, the 90-minute. Also, I love coffee just like you do, but it also includes if I've been rolling, if I'm up, I've just been rolling around the bed like, I'm awake. Mm-hmm. I try to do an hour. I don't always do 90 minutes. I at least do 45 minutes to an hour before I have coffee. Because I don't have to have coffee to wake me up.
No. Yeah.
I just love the way it tastes. I love the whole ritualistic aspect of coffee. I love it, and it tastes fantastic, and it makes me want to talk. Like it's part of my day,
right?
But yeah, like I try to get some water down first and like wake up. Yeah,
that's what it says. Drink water first, and then 90 minutes you can do coffee, which it works out for my routine because I get up, and by the time I from the time I get up to the time I get at work, it's 2 hours. So I actually don't start drinking my coffee. I think on my way to work.
I think the most coffee I'll have in a day is like 2 cups, maybe 1.5. Yeah, and that's if I'm drinking and like talking a lot, it'll go down faster because I'm like conversing. But yeah, normally maybe a cup, maybe. Which isn't actually 8 ounces, but it's I drink more than 8 ounces. Yeah, I'm not a bitch. Cup, right? It's 12 or 15. But if someone's got a pot going and we're conversing, hanging out with the boys, I'll drink some fucking coffee.
Yep, I stopped doing it in the afternoon. I don't drink really coffee at night.
I do decaf
unless I'm like dragging ass. I need to be awake for something at night. Otherwise, I'll just try to like power through it and drink and have some water. But I'm where I just do just in the morning, and that's good enough.
I do decaf at night if I want some. Just for the flavor.
I need a hot beverage. I'm doing.
God, I sound like I'm 90. I put it next to my Geritol and my warm milk.
Yeah, and your prune juice.
My prune juice to keep me regular. Jeez. I almost just fell asleep describing what I was doing.
I'm the one that actually drinks Metamucil.
Yeah, man, you got to stay on it, though. You have to. That's all right.
Because of my condition.
All right, well, enough about colon health.
Yeah, that was a boring conversation.
I did get into the weeds a bit. Yeah, that's okay. Everybody, most of our listeners are over 30. They're like, yeah, they know.
We're right there with you. Yeah.
Right there with you. Or they're like, we're doing it better.
Yeah.
So that's fine. What were you telling me before about this mothership situation? I have not researched this.
Yeah,
I'd like to know.
I'll see if I can pull up an article, like read about it. But apparently,
I did see the snippet on Instagram. It was like such and such that says there's a mothership just outside.
Yeah. So a Pentagon UFO chief. Apparently, this is a guy.
How do you get that job?
I don't know. Being awesome. Crazy, I guess. Says alien mothership in our solar system is possible.
Okay, so it was the weatherman. It might rain tomorrow, but it doesn't. I can be wrong.
I mean, it could be just
quite possibly a mothership.
I mean, I would think that people at the Pentagon, I imagine they probably have at least a single person department dedicated to like everything, because you can't rule anything out. You know what I mean?
And the only reason they give that
position, you're the Pentagon and your job is national security and secrets and all that kind of shit. You can't rule anything out. If it's like 1% possible, I mean, this is me just speculating.
Yeah.
But there's got to be deep level departments where there may just be one guy, like this mothership guy. And they're like, all right, we'll give you a little budget because there's a 1% chance you might be right that there's a mothership. And we don't want to be caught with our pants down and not have a guy dedicated, at least one guy dedicated to this possibility.
Our specialist.
Right. You know what I mean? Because what if like they were like, this guy had this theory and he was like, yeah, this might be a mothership up there. And they were like, okay, whatever, quack, get out of here.
Thanks, Independence
And
Day.
all of a sudden a mothership shows up and they're like, fuck, we got screwed.
Glad we invested. Glad I called that guy.
Right. It's kind of like how, there's all those stories about how Hitler during the Nazi era had those PSYOPs departments where he was like had a bunch of scientists investigating
twins,
like telepathy and like astral projection and all this.
Weren't they testing on twins, like twin children?
Stuff
I know it's
like
been done
that.
in film, but I think that was some realistic stuff.
Yeah, and so in response, like the U.S. government was doing some of that stuff too. So that's quack kind of stuff.
Yep.
But sometimes the quack, it's just too early, and it turns out to be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't want to. So this mothership guy, whatever at Pentagon,
really
it's probably
far-fetched.
like one guy in a department, and he's like, I have this theory that at least I have a budget to like investigate this theory, but it's not a huge likely chance that this is true. But it's interesting to think about.
Aliens have always been obviously a super popular subject, but like, I don't know. The last couple of years, the government released all those videos and footage and stuff.
Still kind of stuff coming out.
And captures of unidentified crafts that they're like, we don't know what this is, but here you can think for yourselves, play for your freedom. Mm-hmm. They throw it out there, but like I saw the guy was in that jet, and you could see it, and they're like, nothing maneuvers this way. And their guy's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. They used to work at Area 51 that said they were working on gravity engines.
Bob Lazar.
And they were deconstructing to reassemble, to figure out how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so if that guy is telling the truth, I don't see how he could just lie for this long. Because apparently they've come back to his house. The government's taking shit out of his house. And, I think basically told Joe, like, I've ruined my life over this whole thing. Like, it's this. But he said, but I won't stop talking about it. So I've never seen a UFO. We know a guy that said he has been involved in some kind of extraterrestrial situation. I've just never seen one. I just find it hard to believe that. I don't think we've really delved in this on the show before, about extraterrestrials. I find it hard to believe that they would really show up and only take our worst, or only deal with the morons, or maybe they're like, this is easier to take them than it would be someone of.
Well, I've
heard they've made films about them. There's a book like where this guy's got abducted and there was horrible things done to him. And there's some that are like, it was kind of like going to Fiji, or like they don't remember any of it, or they'll have like a new scar on the back of their head, or the Christopher Walken movie where he gets like probed in that weird 70s concert vibe.
Well, it's probably there's a guy that was on Rogan a few episodes ago, I think, and he's been on there before. They're like friends, and he's like I think he's a mathematician, but he's like an amateur physicist as well. Super smart dude. His name's Eric Weinstein.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's smart as balls. Kind of weird, eclectic. He's an odd cat. And he also has this like working theory of everything, like a theory of how the universe works, and he's trying to like get it accepted, or at least other physicists to take it seriously and peer review it into the community. He's an oddball. He's an amateur physicist.
He's a freaking weirdo.
He's an oddball. And he's also kind of fed up with the whole, the institutions of everything, like everything. I think from what I gather, I think he likes being this kind of like outsider. But anyway, he was on Rogan, and he never gave the alien thing a second thought. He always thought that it was, and he's probably right about this, is that it was something the U.S. government or some governments are testing, right? It's our technology that we're testing that is getting out, and so they end up, it got seen by somebody, and so instead of trying to cover it up, there's another way you can cover things up, is by pumping out more of it.
Oh yeah, the propaganda portion, like
right?
Where it's, yeah.
So if and this is actually already the U.S. government has actually already done it. So one of the things that they did whenever they're doing D-Day in World War II, whenever they were going to storm Normandy, right? They didn't want the Germans to know that Normandy was the landing spot, right, for D-Day. So they had this whole campaign, this propaganda campaign, where they're putting out misinformation. There's actually like fake, like inflatable tanks and ships and stuff like that, to where anybody that doing surveillance wouldn't be able to tell that it was fake, and you could see like, oh, there's all these ships and tanks that they're moving.
They're on their way
somewhere up in like off Scandinavian coast or something like that. That's where they were going to make landfall. It's like somewhere in Belgium or something like that. And so to try to throw the Germans off, so they would put some more resources up north, which would free up some make it a softer target for Normandy or whatever. So we do stuff like that in order to fool our enemies, right? So it makes sense that if they did the same thing with whenever they were testing the SR-71, is that people thought that was a UFO whenever they would see it. Is they see this thing streaking across the sky, right? And then you have the pressure cloud from going, over the speed of sound, and hear a sonic boom, and that would got to be freaky to some people out in the fucking desert, and they're like, oh, they think it's a UFO. So instead of just saying, yeah, we've been testing a supersonic jet, they just kind of like make it ambiguous and let people think it's a UFO, right? And and I bet you the CIA was involved in that. They kind of like feed that monster a little bit, because the truth is they don't want to get out. They're okay with like conspiracy theorists out there talking about UFOs, because then that keeps the truth hidden. You know what I mean? So it's probably that, is my guess. It's probably that. And that's what this really super smart dude was basically saying, is that for the longest time he said, that's what I've always thought this UFO stuff was, is that the government is testing stuff and it gets seen, or they don't want it to get seen. So they put out this bullshit. People see it and they're like, oh, it's UFOs. And they're like, look over here. And they're not paying attention to what's happening over here, right? But here's the difference, is he's now kind of on the fence now about it. And I don't want to misrepresent it, but he's like, if the government is testing something, this new propulsion type thing, working with gravity, is apparently everybody thinks it's sort of gravity engine or whatever, then it would make sense that you would have some of the smartest physicists around, right?
You would think.
And apparently the government has been reaching out to some of these really smart physicist type people saying, yeah, we've got something. We have something. It's not of this, right? They're telling, right? And they're saying, stay by your phone. We're going to reach out to you and whatever.
Dude, could you imagine?
And they just keep not doing it. And so he's kind of getting pissed off. He's like, I'm done with it. They've been reaching out to him apparently, and he's just kind of like, fuck them. And he's just like, either show me or fuck off, right? I'm tired of this
Until they finally do.
game. And then he goes around, he talks to all of his buddies and people that he knows that are really smart in the physics world, and he's noticed that nobody is being brought in to the program of whatever they're doing. And so if you're working on something that's supposed to, this is like a gravity engine would like revolutionize travel, right? We'd be able to travel the solar system lickety split, no problem. Don't have to even worry about propulsion. Then you would have the smartest people on it.
You would think.
But they have they apparently, according to him, is they have like these amateurs kind of heading these programs that are studying this kind of stuff. And that makes him suspicious that
they're full of shit.
That it's full of shit.
Oh, man.
Because that would make sense to me. Like, whenever they were doing the Manhattan Project for the nuclear for the atomic bomb, like they had all the smartest physicists, people on it, and people in that community knew that they were working on something highly secret. But in this case, all the smartest physicists in the world, or at least in the country, are not in some sort of clandestine operation that they can't talk about. They're still doing their regular jobs, but they've got government people talking to them saying, "Yeah, we got stuff," and it's like. So it sounds like bullshit.
Maybe they're waiting for it to be safe for the smart ones to work on it, and the dumbasses are getting killed, vaporized, probed.
That's one of the things that he was concerned about, and it makes sense to me. Is like, what if the UFOs stuff is real? And this is what his concern was. What if all that UFO stuff is real? And we have a gravity engine, one of their ships, that we're trying to reverse engineer in order to use. And we put retards in charge of it. That actually sounds like something we would do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the government.
It's always idiots that are in charge.
Yeah.
And that's gotten worse and worse and worse over the decades, because the thing about idiots, that the way that they're not idiots is that they toe the company line, the government line, they do what they're told, they don't make waves, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, I have no idea.
Right?
Yeah.
How true is that? We've been in anybody who has had a job for any length of time knows how true that statement is. Yeah. Is that a lot of times the people at the top don't really know what they're doing, right? Yeah. And then I've worked at jobs to where that's not true, but especially when it comes to the government. I mean, look at all the people that we elect. A bunch of idiots.
And we were all just fooled for the last 2 years over a pandemic
Correct.
And now they're kind of like, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. Sorry.
Right. All these experts about COVID.
Yeah.
Complete horseshit.
None of this would surprise me.
It was all horseshit.
If they come out and they're like, yeah, this is all fake. Like, I'd be like, okay. Like, now, with that being in the same breath, if it was real, it'd be some of the wildest shit ever.
Right. But like COVID is a good example of that, because the COVID was real. It more than likely escaped out of a lab because bad protocols.
Because it's named after it?
Correct. It got out and it spread all over the world. It was a real thing. And the people that we put in charge to manage it had were either idiots, bad faith actors. They had their own agendas, whatever. Mm-hmm. But we did not put the smartest people in charge, obviously did not put the smartest people in charge of a thing that happened that shut down the entire world. So, just think about that. A disease that got out, it shut down the entire world. Yeah. And we still can't say that we put the best people on it.
Oh, yeah.
So if aliens did exist and there was a ship around here, I have no faith that we would put the best people on that.
Oh, no. Like that dude's making that claim, like there's a mothership, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, you're fucking crazy.
Right.
But then you're like, what if there really was a mothership out there?
Right.
But
like that movie Don't Look Up.
Oh, of course.
Is exactly, I feel like, what's happening right now, except it's a mothership instead of an asteroid.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie's supposed to be like about climate change or whatever, because
speaking of
is like that. But imagine that's...
So what do you think? You think they're real? That's the question I always get asked. Like, do you believe in aliens? And the next one is like Bigfoot. Like
my gut says no.
Yeah.
But I wish that they were. Like, it would be... I think it would be cool.
I'm kind of the same way you are.
It may not be cool whenever I'm like naked in one of the alien cages or something like that, because they've enslaved us all. But the idea of aliens is cool because, I grew up on Star Wars.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Like, I'm a big sci-fi buff. So like, I like the idea of them being non-hostile.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. Like, it just kind of tells me like it's not. Like, I just find it very unlikely. Do I think we're the only living things in this massive, like, you've seen pictures of these different galaxies, like, it's just the vastness of space, like how big it is. Do I think we're probably the only ones walking around? Probably not.
Yeah, I've heard that argument too. I think there'd probably be some life out there, but it's like single-celled organisms. It didn't get fancy.
If you take a religious aspect on it, like I've had this conversation with people who are a little more religious than you are, not Bible thumping, but and they're like, who's to say that in this who we are in the image of it hasn't been done somewhere? He hasn't done it somewhere else. Like and this is from not crazy folks, just normal people. They're just thinking outside the box that why would God stop here, like, and not do it somewhere else, and we wouldn't know? You know what I mean? Like,
I've heard that argument. Matt Walsh, you know who I'm talking about.
I like Matt Walsh.
He believes in aliens, and someone asked him, how he's also an uber Catholic. He's like, someone asked him, was like, as a religious person, as a practicing Catholic, and you believe what's happened, that the Bible is true, then how can you also say that aliens exist? Doesn't that just refute the things in the Bible about being made after His own image and all this kind of stuff? And his response was, well, God can do whatever He wants, just like you're just saying.
That's what
He can make an entire other race of beings, and on the opposite side of the universe, and that has nothing to do with you, because that's God's prerogative, and everything in the Bible was made for us, not for them, and so maybe they have their own revelation.
That's believable to me. I like that. Sense? I like that point of view on that whole thing. Do I think that there's little green dudes like from X-Files flying around these ships abducting people? Probably not. Is there some unexplained shit? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can look outside your window and see odd things happening. You have no explanation besides, what are this, but still, it looks crazy. Yeah. It shouldn't do that. But, I don't think I'll ever see one in my lifetime. No. It'll take one being shot down, really crashing in the public eye, like a real. You've seen footage,
like in the town square.
People have,
and they walk out.
Yeah, people have shot footage of lights and seen things, but it'll take if you're going to play that card, the sci-fi, the movie Signs, that kid's birthday, the one was about, oh, Dios míos, it's behind.
And just kind of casually walks.
Yeah, like LeBron's his way out of there, that whole thing, like that.
Right, I'd have to.
You need concrete evidence for something like that.
The thing is it
will scare the shit out of me.
Well, even still, with today's world, with Chat GPT and all that deep fake stuff, where you can just even if you saw it on video and you heard it, you still can't quite believe it.
It'll take amateur footage of one crashing in a public place for me to be like,
yeah, but how would you know that amateur footage?
Well, I just mean if it's several, people from a site, not one that's been edited, but several people, then you can kind of decipher. But even then, I don't, that's what it'll take.
That's what I'm saying. It would have to be one that, like you said,
I think they'd have
to crash in the middle of the town square, and they'd have to fucking walk out, and everybody sees it.
Bigfoot would be more believable to me than an alien.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I saw another thing on Instagram or something about. I think it was something that Rogan was talking about, but it was somebody was posting about what Rogan had talked about. I had somebody on there. That dude, I swear to God, he just is into everything.
I like Joe Rogan.
He's into everything.
He's cool as shit.
But he goes super wacky when he's with the comedy friends, his comedian friends. And
then he gets super conspiracy theorists.
Yes. And then he'll get super smart people on there, and political people, and scientists. It's crazy.
Did you see? He just had.
What I was going to say about Bigfoot is that I forgot what the name of them, but there's these chimpanzees that get really big.
Yes.
And they stand up.
Yes.
Tell me that doesn't sound like Bigfoot.
They get upwards of 6 foot tall standing. Yes. I'm glad you brought this up. Not that I've been thinking about monkeys, but I know what you're talking about.
Bond chimps or something chimps?
Hold on.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, because I saw that episode. There was a clip.
Talking about it.
We shared it in the boys. Hold on. Bono, is it a Bono ape?
Yeah, Bono ape?
Hold on. I'll find it.
But they think it's a cross between
it's a Bono ape.
It's a cross between a chimp and a gorilla.
A bonobo ape.
Right. It's a cross between a chimp and it has a ape or has a gorilla heritage in it.
It has a gorilla muscular build type look, but it has a chimp yeah.
But it stands up like a chimp. And so it's basically a cross between a gorilla and a chimp is what I'm getting. There's some mixing there in its lineage or whatever. And it walks around on its fucking hind legs. And apparently scared the shit out of people. And tell me that doesn't sound like Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know that. It's a Bondo ape.
That's it, Bondo.
Apparently there's rumors they hunt lions.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm not going to lie to you. A group of those could kill a lion.
Like Caesar.
Have you seen how big a fucking gorilla is? Which we've talked about. We've talked about gorillas and shit before, I'm pretty sure. Whatever time I think we have. But yeah, I saw that clip.
Yeah.
So I looked it up and Googled it. And yeah, apparently they were just discovered. Yeah. Within the last 20, 25 years, they didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't know a group of 6 foot tall apes would just run around
I didn't see what part of the world that they saw those things in. But, can we just say that that's Bigfoot? That's what Bigfoot has been?
the idea that one of those dudes or a subspecies of that gets that tall in that part of the world, you'd never know it. I mean, they found people in the last, 15 years living in these places. They've never known they existed. Like people, villages of folks.
Right. Actually,
that's what I'm saying. Like not some 10-foot tall ape running through the woods and everybody knows their mating rituals. Right. All that shit is crazy to me.
I would say Bigfoot and Loch Ness and all those things more believable to me than
an alien.
Someone actually, another person on Rogan was talking about what the Loch Ness monster actually probably is a whale dick. So apparently whales, whenever they, they'll actually breach the water with their dicks out.
I do that when I swim.
Exactly, I do too.
I do that too.
And apparently, if you, they showed like a picture of a whale doing this.
Huge.
And then they kind of like did a black and white, did a superimposer where it's black and white, and you see it above just out of the water. And it's like if it was dark and you had low light and you saw this giant whale dick pop out of the water, it looks like the Loch Ness monster.
So it's just whale dick.
So it's just a giant whale dick.
A dick saves everything.
Exactly.
I'm going to start doing that when I'm in the tub. I'm going to breach.
Breach?
I'm going to breach with dick first.
Right. So apparently that's what it is. And I was just like, oh, that's wild. Can you imagine? This whole time, like there's whole communities dedicated to the Loch Ness
Their
monster.
entire life
just a giant erect whale dick.
Just a big whale dick. Could you imagine? The last 15 years of your career, you've studied the Loch Ness, and you find out concrete that it's actually just whale shaft.
Right. You actually finally pin it down. You're like, here it is. I've narrowed it down. It is right here, and it's going to reveal itself.
Yeah.
On Tuesday night,
and they're like,
all of a sudden, it's like, oh, these whales are in the way. Like do they actually hang out with the Loch Ness monster? And all of a sudden, whales are fucking, and a big old whale dick breaches out of the water.
Find out it's just it's a whale orgy.
Yeah.
Like
That's what it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they're hanging out at Loch Ness.
Yeah.
This is where they have the whale
orgy. Old
orgy.
Nessie's just a whale shaft.
That's awesome.
That would suck.
Yep.
And be awesome at the same time.
See, and that's the reason I think like all this conspiracy stuff about aliens, it's got to be something stupid like that.
Speaking of wild shit, I sent it to you guys. Did you get that audio that NASA had of that black hole?
I've heard that before, which is weird.
That is the eeriest sound.
Well, I mean,
which they said there is no sound.
No, I think that what they're doing, it's kind of like whenever what they're doing is they're taking.
Do we have that footage?
They're taking like gamma waves or radio waves that are coming out of those and catching them. That's what it's quote sounds like. But there's no space is a vacuum, so you actually can't hear anything.
Correct.
There's nothing for the sound wave to travel across. So you can't actually hear a black hole, but this is just what it would sound like if your ears could be in tune to the radio and gamma waves pumping out of that thing.
Trying to see here it is.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Welcome to hell.
I mean, really, that's terrifying, dude.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is eerie.
I've got it on it.
I just had this feeling like, what if the aliens did show up and that's what like they sounded like?
I'd be pissed. Like, just imagine, like, look, they're coming out, right? Like, the door comes in.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is it. We're getting some action, people. Hold on 1 second. And this little dude creeps out and, like, I think he's a little handsome. All of a sudden,
he just opens his mouth and goes.
Right. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me.
I can't understand shit. Well, it's like that movie Arrival where they like the aliens are in like a smoke filled room and they like do finger
paints. They're like cuttlefish.
Yeah.
And only she can they're like that whole
That was dumb.
And then
it was mind bending, but it's still I was like I hated the way they represented those aliens.
That sound reminded me of what was that creepy ass movie like in Alaska where it was supposed to be? Is it The Fourth Kind or something with Mia Jovanovic, whatever her name is, she played the doctor.
Yeah,
and they had that wild ass footage that guy raises up out of the seat. He's like, whoa.
Yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Neck snaps back. 100%. It gives me chills when I talk about it.
Yeah, he's sitting in the bed, and he's raising up, and the camera's all like shuddering.
And then his mouth was so wide, and all of a sudden they're like, he had 7 breaks in his spine out of nowhere. Like, fuck, what?
That's crazy.
He shits his pants. Like, yeah, the whole thing is just.
I haven't watched a good horror movie in a bit, dude. There's one that I when I get back into
Russell Crowe has a new one.
Yeah, I saw that one with the Pope's Exorcist.
Bro,
I'm into that. I love that kind of shit. That's where I really like.
Oh, my nipples are getting hard. Chills running down my back. It's messing me up, man. That shit freaks me out.
Pop the semi.
Like that. Remember that Conjuring when I scared the shit out of us in the theater?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
That was good. That was that bitch in that Dirty 90.
Yeah, the one that I'm going to watch, I haven't seen, but I want to watch Barbarian. That's my.
I've seen it.
I know you've seen it.
It's so that one. Okay, I wouldn't call that horror. It's more suspense.
Yeah,
it's just really uncomfortably weird.
Well, I like that concept.
But you need to watch that. It's a good one. It's really because it's kind of and the casting's done really well. Yeah. It's weird. It's not who I would have thought to cast in that kind of movie. Long in it, doesn't it? But it's like a black comedy thriller. It's just weird as shit. It's good. I started following him on Instagram. I found his Instagram. He's a weird cat. He's a weird dude. They're all weird. They're all thespians. They're all weird asses.
Yeah.
Speaking of thespian weird, Ben Affleck was on Sunday morning this morning with Matt Damon. And they got this new movie coming out about
they're buddies.
Yeah, it's fine. I can appreciate a bromance.
But someone says Ben Affleck looks like Zohan.
He does actually a little bit right now in that movie. Yeah, so he's kind of sad lately. I don't know. He just has he was talking about his wife said, but then he was like, it's
about Matt Damon or
no
Affleck?
Ben Affleck today.
He's with J-Lo now.
I know. So
you should be happy.
That's what I said. So he's doing this speech. He's telling the person interviewing him. He was getting kind of, really involved in this and what he was saying. He was like, he said they're asking about how it's been his career, and he's like, he said I go to home to my wife and I work with my best friend. Like it's just life's great. He said at the time it wasn't.
J-Lo married?
Yeah,
they're married.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought they were just together.
Her mom's really happy about it. But at least that's what it said in the magazine. But anyways, so
that's right. I forgot you. You read those things.
So that's what that's what he said. So he was like, at the time it wasn't all about. At the time it was you've chased money, like you'll get a lot of money most of the time, but then it doesn't really buy happy. He said I wasn't really any happier, and I was just like, fuck you, Ben. Are you serious? Everyone that has all this fucking money and they're like, it doesn't buy happiness. I'm like, by God, it'll put a smile on my face, and I will show you how to use it. You want to be poor? Give me all your money and you can go figure out what y'all want to do.
You can go on a vision quest. Yeah.
Let me handle that.
I've heard someone say that after 40 million, I think they said that
whatever it is.
It's like after 40 million, it's like that's all you need because you can buy pretty much everything that you would want at that amount. And anything above that, it's just kind of like bullshit. And so I could see to where we kind of, we're kind of talking the same way when we talk about we want more time off. Instead of chasing a higher and higher salary, at some point it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, you know what I mean?
My goal.
They're just at a higher level, but they're having the same existential crisis that we are.
I had this conversation the other day, and I was like, I think I want to try to elevate my hobbies to the max they can be potential fun. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm always looking at toys nonstop. Like I just want to literally elevate those hobbies to the mech, to as high as they can be. My problem is I'm selfish.
What does that mean? What does that look like?
So for example, when I buy a dirt bike, right? I have one. I want to put all the things to it. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. What can I now do with this to make it even more fun? Well, I know what I can do besides the parts and accessories. Now I can get an enclosed trailer for it, and then I can soup that trailer up to do longer rides or put a sleep section in it. And then after that, I was like, okay, cool. Instead of a trailer, I can probably get a Transit or a Dodge 3500 and turn it into an ultimate van. Well, if I get that big van, I'm going to have to fill it because I can put my dirt bike and my mountain bike and my daughter's bike, but now I can put me a 110 in there. Well, that's cool too. Now that I've got that, I was like, well, shit, I'm also going to need something else to do when I can't do this. So now I need to get this Harley again. Well, to elevate the Harley, I'm going to make sure it's got all the parts so it sounds the way it does. Well, then I was like, now my buddies have to get them so we can all go on rides together and do that. Well, at that point, I'm going to need a bigger garage. Now I need to elevate that to make that even higher. Well, it's just, it never fucking stops because all this centers around, I never want to not have fun. But the problem with that being, and this goes out to all you young parents as well, or someone like me, the problem you run into is that all of my hobbies focus around just me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying now to kick the habit of okay, slow down. You've got all this stuff. And now that my daughter's involved with riding with me too,
which makes it better.
It's coming full circle. It's great. She's got all, and now I get just excited buying her gear and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's my mini me and we're getting involved. She's the youngest, she's third generation rider. She's the youngest doing it ever from our group. So the problem though is I don't want it to stop. I have a fear of slowing down.
So you don't know, do you have So as you were explaining, like getting more and more stuff, that is centered around this one particular hobby, I just kept thinking, is like, well, okay, what's another example of that?
It's any person who it's any person who has a hobby. You want it to be the best it can be.
Like if you're you play video games, like you just want to have this batter and batter.
It's the same thing. It's right? You're just a hobby.
So I get where you're talking about that, but I think you're on the right track with if you're just consuming it yourself, you could have this like crazy ass thing going on. Like say if I was into video games, I just played just by myself and I had this crazy rig. At some point you're going to have. You can only go so far with how much money you have. I mean, how much money can you really realistically spend on one hobby? I mean, at some point it's going to have diminishing returns. You're going to get to a point to where you have all of it, and then you're just going to be like you said, you just keep wanting to go more and more. Yeah. But you're going to hit a wall at some
eventually.
point.
Yeah.
So I think you're on the right track where you have to gear it around sharing that experience with other people.
Well, what I run into is that being a parent, like, so, for example, like my dad, like I'm doing all this stuff with him now because him and I are doing all this together. Mm-hmm. Well, growing up, he did stuff with us. Everything revolved around us. Well, my problem is like she's getting involved with me now. Mm-hmm. But my thing is like, well, all this other stuff I want to do instead of just being, I can't do the lockdown parent where I'm just a parent and lose like all sense of who I am. Mm-hmm. I've seen that happen to people. Oh yeah. And then then when they get to like 45, 50 years old,
they're just dead.
They come back around and try to redo it. I want to keep doing it. Yeah. Like, so I have a fear of losing my part of my identity. Yeah. And I don't think it makes me less of a parent or anything like that. I'm just saying like
I think you're 100% correct.
I think that I have a fear of, for one, not having fun. And then I don't ever want the ride to stop. But then I have to also make sure that I'm semi-involved. So like I have a selfish bug I'm trying to like equal out.
No, I think you're right. And I'll go even a step further than with that. Is I've heard very smart people, theologians and biblical scholars and religious folks talk about the family dynamics. Mm-hmm. And I think there is a misconception with modern parenting these days, and that whenever a couple gets together and they have kids, that there's a shift in the mindset to where kids are priority number one all the time, and I think that's incorrect. And a lot of people, a lot wiser than us, say as much. And I think what we're seeing now is that gone to such an extreme. So that's the reason why now I think we're seeing this gender issue that we're seeing now is because parents have been trained by institutions and broader society and their friend groups and everybody else that everything that their kid says, does, feels, whatever is valid and accurate, and you've got to support it, right? And so that's gone to the extreme. Religious people religious scholars and theologians and everybody who's really delves into this kind of stuff and look throughout history and how family dynamics worked throughout history and in times that were bad and times that were good, basically say this a lot of the same thing, is that the male, his number one priority should be the wife. The wife's number one priority should be the kids, but you have to like make yourselves and your relationship the priority that you focus on every day, and then you only focus on the kids in the emergency. When there's an emergency, then all of a sudden it's all hands on decks. We got to handle the kids kind of situation. But the kids I'm going to butcher this, but basically the kids are going to take care of themselves. But if you don't focus on each other and who you are and how you guys work together, then a lot of that other kind of stuff suffers. And I think that's what ends up happening is either both parents or one of them focus so much on the kids that they lose themselves and they lose their relationship with their partner.
Oh yeah,
because they focused on the kids too much.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Weird. So it's a.
Is that? I mean, am I making sense?
It does. It's a game of balance for sure. Yes. Like you have to find a sweet spot, and every house is different. Like I try to mimic. Of course, Kai and I are a team. We try to do everything as a team. Yeah. Like, and we do we've talked about it before, like the gender roles as far as like nurturing, disciplinary. Both of us try to do both. Obviously, she's better at the nurturing portion than I am. I don't panic whenever there's emergencies going on, but I'm also brash. I don't have the nurturing side if she's crying. Like, I'm not good with that.
Mm-hmm. That's the reason why that's both of y'all.
But there is a dynamic, like you said. You either go way into it, or you're too lax or too serious. You have to find a sweet spot.
Right.
And I'm not saying we're experts by any means. I learn something new every day, and I may be doing it super wrong. But if you think so, I really don't give a shit. Do your own house. But I just try to mimic like my closest friends, that we grew up with, like how their parents were and my parents. So yeah, like parenting's tough. Yeah. It's especially in this crazy whirlwind of shit we're in right now.
Well, I think we've seen both extremes. I have seen people growing up that were, how their parents were, to where they just let them do anything and everything. Yeah. They weren't paying attention at all.
We were jealous of those kids.
Right. We were jealous at the time. And then you see the ones that they were always doing something, and they just could not. The kid had no ability.
You're talking about like super strict parents?
Well, not strict, but it's just that they were always doing activities all the time, and you couldn't just be.
Are you talking about like, I'm trying to.
Where the parents, I'm talking about.
Like sports parents, or like what kind of.
Yes, like
that's what I'm asking.
Where it's like they go to work, and as soon as they get home, they're doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and it's just constant all the time.
Yeah,
you have to. It's like the kids have to constantly be entertained, otherwise they're going to burn the house down. You know what I mean? Those types.
Yeah, they tell you that too whenever you have kids. As they get older, you try to, and our doctor told us too, like, because Harper's an only child, so like, they call it self-soothe, where kids can play by themselves. Like, they don't have to have someone, and they're like, yeah, that's important. Let them do that.
Right.
If they're talking to themselves in their room playing, that they have to be able to occupy themselves.
Right.
Without you constantly stimulate, like, let them do. So yeah, like, which I could actually listen to. That sounds weird, but listen to kids play, like listen to Harper in her own little world. I could listen to that all day.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Well, for one, I have a very high imagination as well, and so does she. But like, it's just, I don't know. When you become a parent, it's different. You'll hear it, and before I had kids, I'd hear it, and I was like, you fucking weirdo.
Right.
But like, it's really fascinating that they do that. But they tell you, like, don't intervene, like, let them do that, and that's common sense. I'm sure everybody listening that's got kids is like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's a balance thing.
Speaking of,
you know what your priorities are, and focus on it, and make little changes every day.
Speaking of kids, we went to the jump place today.
Yeah,
the Defy. Anxiety was through the roof, bro. Dude, fucking madhouse. It was for a friend of Harper's. From school. It was a birthday. It was like her first birthday. Like one of the few she's gone to that we didn't know, that we just met the parents today. Well, we made contact first. Like, hey. She was invited, like, what do we need to do? Like, what is your child into so we can bring a gift? It's someone that Harper's known for a couple of years. So we went to it, and I walked in, and I was like, this is not going to be good. Like, her poor mom, the girl lady's mom, was like, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I said, it is like this.
Was it just too many kids?
Dude, everywhere. And, like, all walks of life. And, Clarksville's not a very attractive town to begin with.
All ages and everything.
It basically was rivers and spires with trampolines.
Okay, gotcha.
So we walk in, and like, of course, the kids are excited, bro. It's great. Get your little tag, something, go do your thing. But like, you just see, and then I got to see like awkward dads. Like, have you ever seen these people? These are the dads that like come over to the group of kids and like talk to the kids, but try to like talk to them, like get in their own little world. Like, hey, you guys look cool. Like, are you guys like sisters? Like, it's almost like pedophile-ish, weird. Like
Magoo kind of
super Magoo, and just awful.
Yeah.
I got to see a lot of that, and then
how do you do, fellow youths?
And then like I saw, dude, it's fucking wild looking. Mm-hmm. There's people jumping. There's overweight kids everywhere. They're sweating profusely, eating Dippin' Dots. Dude, like one kid walked by. He looked like a Richard Simmons video, like the before. Like, just sweat down to his taint on his clothes, dying and looking for a Mountain Dew. Kids are spilling over there's it's just
that's the one area where I don't like kids, and we've all been through,
weird.
Whenever you're in that awkward preteen phase, where you're just awkward and, like I said, like a little overweight, a little sweaty. You're starting to get.
I never got overweight.
You got like or you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Super
like,
weird. Yeah.
Kids are fine. All the way
weird.
up until that point. Then I just kind of like don't want to be around them.
Yeah. Well, that's
weird?
what these kids were like. They're talking. They're like acting weird and like they baby talk. And I was just like sitting there with the cat. I was like, kids are so fucking weird. So I was just like, what's wrong? I was like, they're just weird. They're just weird little beings. Weird. And then after that, they go to like that preteen where they think they know everything. Yeah. And it's just awful and they dress weird. Right. And then like you get in like, I was telling her the other day, I was like, you get into like that 14, 15, 16-year-old spot, then you're just like puberty kicks in hardcore and like you get boners all the time, and like it's just you like hump the air. It's
but
just
those I can at least understand.
Yeah, that I understand.
The preteen era where they haven't got into the hormones yet, where they're like where I can understand that feeling, but they're just awkward and smelly and sweaty and weird. And
then now they go from that to like you'll see some of these kids where they don't talk to adults, they don't look at you.
Oh, that fucking infuriates me more than anything else.
It's so weird. Everything's weird. Everybody's just weird.
That's a good way to put it. Like if you see like a 6-7-year-old and they're all like shy or whatever, and they're like, that's normal. That's fine. I because you're a kid, you're small,
weird.
Everyone's big,
you're weird,
right? I get it. It's fine. But whenever you hit like 13 and you're still like that,
I want to hit you.
I'm get with it, kid. You're 13. You need to be able to communicate with adults at this point. Get out of your shell. Fuck, I hate that shit.
They can't do it.
It drives me nuts. And I would say 13 and beyond, if you have not figured out how to effectively just say hello and communicate with anybody, adult or kid, by the time you're 13, you need to get on the ball. You got to start socializing more. I hate that when I see that. When I see like a 14, 15-year-old and they're just all awkward. It drives me nuts.
I'm going to jump off the rail real quick.
Okay.
Did you get any responses?
Hard left turn.
Did you get any responses on our Tinder thing?
I haven't looked. Do we need to look?
Yeah, pull it up.
You got another maybe 20 minutes here?
Pull that up. So apparently that was a big hit. People really enjoyed us doing that. I had multiple people actually say that was the best of us. Apparently when I made the comment, that girl looked like a bison.
Or she looked like she could lift a truck or something like that.
Yeah. I made a comment about her built like a bison. That was a real popular thing. But I was curious if you got any
Judging
hitbacks.
women apparently is a hit. Let's see.
Judging people in general, everyone loves.
No, I have not had any matches. Imagine that. Actually, it might be my problem with my profile because I was like fucking with it and just like basically lying on my profile just to see.
Oh, do you mean that being deceitful is not a good way to meet women? That makes sense. I couldn't imagine why.
So like, I'm sure my profile makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Yeah, it's all lies. All of it. It's all lies.
Dude, you're like a big time manager now. You need to use that, play that card.
Big time is a strong word.
It's a great word. But you can be deceitful about everything else. But
yeah,
you
like
can't.
I put on here that I'm 6'2".
You're not.
Because I was basically doing
Yeah, you're not 6'2".
This is a bullshit current app, and so I was just kind of like, whatever, let me fuck with it. And I was just gonna like try to.
What was the thing that? What was the thing that you and Jacob
love tall guys? So I was like, fuck it, let's say I'm 6'2" and see if I get more matches.
What was the thing Jacob sent about the dating? Oh, I'm actually calling the group. My bad, guys. Probably that would have been awkward. Where's the thing he sent about the dating stuff?
What do you mean?
Well, didn't the boys today send something?
I said the thing about the experiment with the rings.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Read that out. So that's interesting.
Okay, so this says millions of singles are set to join the social experiment that removes the need for dating apps. According to Vogue, 76% of people are open to being chatted up in real life. I think it's higher than that. Going back to I would say it's higher than that. Pair is a small ring that makes it easy to know who is single. We've talked about this with T-shirts or solo cups at a party. Different cups mean different things. Didn't you actually go to a party where they did that?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's a real thing.
Back in the day.
Dude, this is dope. Are you going to get into this?
I think it's already closed. They're doing an experiment. Basically, I read the thing about it is that they've got a bunch of people that join in on this thing, and they're starting off a trend, essentially, to where you wear this ring, and this ring identifies you. You know how when someone wears a ring, you say, oh, they're married. They got a ring.
Yeah.
The ring on the left hand, the ring finger. Boom, they're married. Well, basically now there's going to be an opposite to that if you wear this particular ring, it signals to everybody that I am single, look, ready to mingle. right? And so that way it takes out the guesswork on what everybody's kind of like. I guess they're doing an experiment on if you take out the guesswork on who's married, who's in a relationship but not married, and is actually single. What if we put an identifier on somebody that says, I am single, I am not attached, don't have a boyfriend, girlfriend? What would that look like if you have millions of people that have an identifier just like married people do saying I'm single? Would that create more natural interactions between single folks or not? Because I think it would. Because my thing now is, as a single person, when I go out and about, I'm scanning hands.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of times people don't wear rings.
That's also true. Right. So if I'm scanning hands in a group, and say we're in a group of acquaintances and I don't quite know everybody or whatever, just looking out in a bar or restaurant or wherever, and I see, boom, ring. She's single. I know that I can go talk to that person, and I'm not going to have I got a boyfriend. That takes an element out of it.
Okay. So what's going to suck, though, is if they change the color to white on some new thing, and I'm about to get a new ring.
Well, it was turquoise, so I think.
Well, I'm just saying they had different colors, like red.
No, it's just the one thing.
One color available.
Yeah, you're not like a mood ring. It's just.
No, I know that.
If you wear this ring and it's turquoise,
I thought they would do different colors.
No, it's just saying I'm single. That's all it is.
Okay.
There's one mode. I'm single.
I like it.
So I thought it was interesting. I had no idea. I didn't look.
Be helpful.
Didn't finish reading to see what city they're actually doing that in. It's probably a bigger city.
Be helpful for single losers,
LA or something.
So.
All right, married since I was 20. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what it's like out there.
I had to take a jab real quick.
You fucking married folks.
I had to take a jab. Yeah, I know. Well, what do? You know?
Married people have done nothing for me. I've heard apparently married people love to matchmake, but it never happens.
Do you know how hard it is for me to have? I cannot have female friends, single female friends, to reach out to on a daily basis.
No. Right?
Like she could. It's their fault. It's the wives' fault.
Right.
If you were a dude, I could hook you up. If you were into dudes, I could try to hook you up with a friend, another dude friend.
All my avenues to meeting people have all failed me. Like all my married friends have failed me. My brother, who's gay, is supposed to be around like even younger before he's got with his fiance. He's supposed to be around like hot girls all the time. No, he only hung out with 60 AARP bitches. That's all he hung out with.
Yeah, but at this point,
a bunch of drunk old winos.
Your pool is
that was it.
Your pool is getting small. You may have to get to 60 AARP
at that
drunkos.
Point, yeah. By the time I actually
settle down.
Fucking A. All my avenues have failed.
I love diving into your dating world.
Yep.
It cracks me up.
And then my one single friend, he just cox blocks me all the time. So,
he's a son of a bitch. That's true.
So I am out here all by myself trying to figure this shit out. No one's helping me.
His weakness. Just go there and take one from him. He'll be devastated.
Yeah, he works out more than I do. He would just, I can't do it.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be upset.
Right.
I love it when he said it. He said he has a weakness for strippers. That shit made me laugh so hard. He's like, I always fall in love with one of them.
He does. It's really funny.
It's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
He does.
It was great.
Yep. But Brandon's crazy. Dating is weird, but I didn't get any matches. I need to actually fix this.
You need to commit. You know what I mean?
And we can do some more swiping at the end of our episode.
I think we're gonna call it our 5-minute swipe.
I guess so. Last 5 minutes going through some of these. There's every once in a while I'll come across one that's local, and it's a little person.
Okay. Actually, I'm glad you brought this up. This is something I've been wanting to talk about because Jacob sent it to us in our boys chat. Mm-hmm. We need to have him on, by the way.
Are you talking about that girl that looks like she's 12?
Okay, so he brought it and he said him and I talked about it on the phone. I was like, because I watched that whole thing too because I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just all publicity. But she really is that little. Apparently she had like brain cancer at one time. She was treated, then it like stunned her. Like she's
messed with her
she looks like
system.
How old does she look? Probably.
She looks 13.
Okay, we'll just say 13. But she's little. She's a little person. But she's proportionate little.
Yeah.
But she's actually 23 years old. When she met that guy, good looking. I think he's Australian or English, British, whatever. Good looking guy, whatever. And they were dating, and like apparently the internet ripped him apart.
Yeah.
So all that aside, Jacob said that thing, and I was just like, he was like, he's like, is this for real? I said, yeah. I said, that dude caught a lot of flack because people thought you're sick, you're gross.
Looked
but
like
then,
a pedophile. Yeah.
And Jacob's response to it was, that's all well and good. But he said, but like, do people not expect or don't think she's not supposed to have somebody?
Yeah.
Like she's just supposed to have no one because
what
the
else
way
is she
she
supposed
looks.
to do? She has no
or
option.
she has to find someone just like her.
Right.
So with that being said, I told him, I said, me being me and the way I'm a judgy asshole, which I am, I'm harder on myself than anyone, but I would immediately be like, you got a fetish of some kind. I'm sorry. It's the same thing if I see somebody with a very large obese woman. Like,
yeah, but I mean, what is that fetish though? I mean,
it's curiosity.
I mean, you're talking about if he's saying he has a fetish for girls that look like he's 12.
That's me being a dick.
He's a pedophile.
That's right. It's me being an asshole. But I mean, that's
part of the internet ripping him apart.
But right. That's exactly right. You said that better than I did.
That's what
it is. So I'd probably be the same. I'm with the internet posse.
Here's their mistake. Is being public on the internet about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Why you need to,
do you think they should be? Do you think they should be sheltered and not come out?
Well, here's the thing. It's not like they were out there promoting. Hey, look, my girlfriend looks like she's 12, but she's really 23, and we're having sex. Like that's not. They were. You know what I mean? They weren't out there doing that.
No,
they were just doing their relationship, posting stuff on Instagram, just like anybody would.
But she's already on the public eye, being on TLC, so she's already got a big.
So my thing is. Our people's desire. I don't know what people. We have got to get to a point to where if someone's like, "Hey," puts a camera in your face and saying, "Hey, what do you think?" You can just say no and not be a part of that. Like something about our need to like broadcast our shit everywhere,
like a podcast.
I know I'm like contradicting myself based on what we're doing here, but I'm fine with that. But some people don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like...
That doesn't need to be our immediate response every time. It's like, oh, I need to put this out there for the world to see. Like, it's okay to...
self-validation.
You know, things can exist and if it doesn't exist on Instagram, right? You know what I mean?
Well, when I saw it, I was like, all right, whatever. Like, it's obviously it's different. It's different than what I'm used to seeing.
Yes.
And of course, my mind goes to horrible places and I think weird things. And I'm like, I just don't know how this would... I'm not attracted to... I wouldn't be as a man because he's a dude. He's a good-looking guy. Like, I just wouldn't be... I'd have questions to, what is it? Like,
she just has the unfortunate combo of being really small, but also having a young-looking face. But I've seen girls that are normal height that look like her in the face.
Of course.
Right? And then I've seen girls that are really, really short, like little people, but they look older. She just has the unfortunate problem of both.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have a friend who's got, his wife is very, very small, right? And
yeah.
But not that.
No, that small.
And she doesn't look 12.
Right.
But
what is
she supposed to do?
I saw it and I was like, it's different. I mean, it'd be weird. It weirded me out to have dinner with him. Like I would be staring a lot. Like it just weirded me out. And then of course, if we were really good friends, I would make jokes the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Like it'd be endless.
Well, the ones that I thought were
I don't want to date someone. Like I wouldn't want to see them hang out and then like she's gonna need a booster seat. Like it would fuck me up. Like I would and then I'd be like, you sure you don't want a high chair? But like not to be cruel, but like I would just wouldn't be able to help it.
Maybe she should not go for like a 6'2" tall dude. Go,
with a six pack Australian. I'm like, God, where did you find this guy?
Maybe search for somebody who's like 5'2".
Maybe not Christian Grey. Well, she met a guy on the show. I watched it. Like it was a fireman. He was he was a little person. And they were like, well, that makes sense. That made more sense. But he wasn't obviously as attractive as the 6-foot ab guy from Australia. So in her defense, I'd be like, yeah, I'd pick the other guy too. Like,
even a bitch with a fucking disease where she looks like she's 12 and she's like
still
4 foot tall
guy.
Still's picky about 6 foot tall firemen or whatever the fuck.
All you single people are too
Jesus
picky.
Christ.
All you single people are too picky.
It is the
y'all are all too picky.
It is the problem with being paralyzed by too many options.
Y'all are too picky.
That's what it is.
It's not picky. You need to know that your numbers, you need to sit down and come up with your numbers and be like, okay, I'm this number. And
it's not picky.
That's picky.
Imagine this.
Or you set your standards too high.
It's not it.
Then what is it?
It's too many options. Imagine this.
Then narrow your options. You go to a restaurant. This ain't the Cheesecake Factory.
You can't. We live in a society that has too many options. It's everywhere.
I don't know.
Imagine this. Imagine this, that you go to a restaurant and there is 10,000 things to order and you like all of them.
Yeah, but you're going to like some better than others.
Think about this. Really think about this.
There's not 10,000 women you're choosing from. Let's be real. We're in this town.
No, but
all right.
I'm setting the stage.
Fill out your restaurant.
So
go ahead.
You got 10,000 things that are in front of you and you like all of them.
Okay.
Right? And if you've been on dating apps or scrolled through Instagram or watched whatever, in your mind, you are actually absorbing that many faces and bodies and personality type and everything. We are a connected world. You don't just see people that are in your town. You see people in the town over, in the country, everywhere. Right?
I'm chewing.
You're constantly seeing all sorts of different types of people. So imagine you're at a restaurant, you've got 10,000 things in there, and you like them all. How long is it going to take you to actually pick something to eat? Realistically, think about it.
I just don't see myself picking 10,000 things.
You're not picking 10,000. You're picking one thing.
Sorting through.
But you have to sort through them because you have to see every single item. You like all of them, and then you have to go back and decide which one do I want to eat. Now you can't tell me that you're going to be able to make you're not going to be able to make a decision as fast as if you had just had two options. If you had two things in front of you and you like them both, you would have an easier time picking one of them than you would have amongst 10,000.
I would definitely narrow down my menu size.
But still, that's taking more time.
But like
that's the problem.
I'm talking about also people that like that woman I told you about that she's looking for a rip type. We talked about this. Like I'm like you need to know your own self. You need to know your own because that's an option that is presented to her. Is what I'm saying. Well, I think it's dumb because I'm thinking to myself, like, for example, if you're going to do the numbers game, like, okay, this chick, let's say she's like a 6. Stop looking for 9s and 10s. You're not going to get one.
Doesn't matter. You're not listening. You're not hearing me. It's because the 9s and 10s are in your face.
Well, then if
you never had those as an option, then you would be fine with the 6s.
You got to snap back to reality. I don't understand. Like I know, even if I was a single man, half the things on this menu that I see on these cell phones is not realistic for me.
I'm just telling you the reality. I'm not agreeing with and saying it's good. I'm just explaining.
It's dumb.
Why that is what it is.
It's dumb. They need to fix it.
Because you people that got married like before, social media really kicked off, and you had these dating apps. I'm not
that fucking old.
I know, but you get what I'm saying.
I get it.
At this point now, it's everywhere that everyone has I have immediate access right now to evaluate 100 women now.
Of course.
Right now.
Of course. Well, we're going to do it. That is
option overload.
Yeah, I mean,
is what I'm saying.
But my thing is, I guess it's option overload, but you need like realistic options. These people need like realistic options.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how well you do it. Again, like I'm saying, what I'm saying is I could really craft it down, but like I know exactly, and I do that. I know exactly the type I'm looking for, right? But the problem is because there's so many options out there, and that you are constantly, you see somebody like, oh look, but then you keep swiping. You're like, maybe I'll find somebody a little bit better.
It's like fishing. One more cast.
One more.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
that's the problem.
Then I feel like I run into this, like that lady on that podcast where she's like, I'm a 10. Like, and the guy's like, you're not. And she's like, and the other girl from Pearl, she thinks she's an 8. Like they really think this. I'm like, you're so fucking warped.
I guarantee
it's insane.
Her problem also, that girl you're talking about, who's clearly like a 5 on a good day.
On a good day.
Right, on a scale of mashed potatoes, is a 5. That she has probably got a few bodies that are outside of her range. That she's probably is hooked up with a couple of guys that are way out of her league. So now, because she's had that option. You get what I'm saying? And the thing about guys, especially guys that get around, is that it doesn't matter if they can get 9s and 10s all day long. if they get an opportunity and the time is right and it's just the stars align, they'll bang a 4, they'll bang a 5, they'll bang a 6. It doesn't matter.
It's like that dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that dude,
so imagine that girl who's actually like a 4 and she ends up banging a dude that's like a 9. Now she's got it in her head like that's now an option that I have available to me to where now I can attract 9s.
What that dude? Like what that dude told that girl. She's like, yeah. She's like, I can't. All that. He was like, yeah. He's like, it's fine. Even ugly, unattractive women can get laid.
Exactly.
How many of them do you actually want to marry y'all?
Exactly.
And I was like, ooh.
Right. And see, that's the paralyzing nature of too many options.
Yeah.
If you had
too much access.
If you were buying motorcycles and you had the choice between 2 colors, it's a lot easier to be able to decide between a whole bunch of different colors. It would take you longer.
It'd take me longer, but it wouldn't be like this long fucking.
So you
process.
admit it would take longer.
Yeah, but not like this long. It wouldn't take me years.
You're missing the
weeks.
point on the top.
Well, of course, it's easier to pick the 1 or 2. Yeah, like
scales.
that's dumb.
It scales.
Yeah, I get it. It'd be easier to pick 1 from 4 or 2 out of 6.
If I had two in front of me, I could pick one of the 2. It would take me longer if it was 10. It would take me even longer if it was 1,000.
Don't these systems narrow this down for y'all?
No, I mean, but again,
here's your 5 out of 10,000.
Again,
pick one of these.
I've matched people on here. I've gone on dates from people right here. But then I still know that there's still more to swipe. You get what I'm saying?
God, I think we need to get rid of these phones. You single people need to get rid of your phones.
So that's the reason why that experiment.
We need more farmers markets.
That's the reason why that experiment is a thing. Is because I think we have gotten to a point we've gotten to a tipping point to where we now understand that there's just too many options out there, and we're not actually making a decision. If you have too many options, you're constantly going to be thinking, well, did I make the right choice? It's a lot easier to say between 2 things, but like, well, I know I don't want that one, so I know this is the only option I have. I've got to be happy with it because I have no other option. But if I've got a bajillion options, our minds are, and this is psychology, just how people work, is if you've got too many options, then you're going to be constantly thinking, well, did I make the right choice?
Yeah, and then what's funny is nowadays when you made your decision there in your hand, you're like, this is the one I'm going to go with. They can be like, well, I'm going to try this one for maybe a few years, a few months, then I'm going to go back out. I'm going to get rid of that option, go back and find another option.
Oh, well, yeah. And then you get into a whole other thing about divorce rates and all that kind of stuff. And that's actually a problem, too, with why, more temptation out there, more options.
Yes.
Getting people away.
All comes back to access.
Too much access, too many options, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. That's the problem, and it's paralyzing us. It's paralyzing single people, and it is destroying marriages in a lot of ways. So,
how much time you got on our board?
We got like 3 minutes, but
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Fuck.
3 minutes total. That's the only time. That's how long we've been talking. Is 3 minutes.
It feels longer.
Time flies. We're talking about aliens and dating. That's like if aliens actually did exist and they came down here, that's going to get real weird real quick.
Well, you start dating aliens.
There would be some people out there. You talking about fetishes?
Oh, well, we said that when they were going to storm Area 51, like Naruto run.
They're going to clap some alien cheeks.
Someone's going to get raped in there.
100%. They're going to have alien relationships. Everybody's going to
Everybody identifies as a toaster and a cat.
So if aliens are out there and exist, they better be like at least be humanoid.
I would
looking.
show up here and
they'll be like some sort of squid monster or something.
They would show up and land in a damn parade and be like, "Where the fuck did we go?" They're gonna see some dude like in a damn banana hammock swinging his shit around, dressed up like a puppy play or whatever they do. True. Cloven hooves, run around. They're like, I have to go. We don't have enough room on our ship.
Yeah, I know. We're already mutilating ourselves so much. We're almost alien-like at this point.
Pretty much.
Whatever. All right, well, I guess we better wrap this up. We'll end on that with aliens banging humans.
Aliens banging humans, which I'm pretty sure we talked about that already. It's all fucked up.
We'll have new parades and holidays for alien banging.
God, I love it.
Alien Fucking Awareness Month will be October.
Like, follow, subscribe for your weekly report on alien fucking. Make sure you share. Don't be shy. Share us.
Yep.
Like us, follow, subscribe. That's all. That's all.
I guess that's it.
Okay.
Send it
all
off.
right. I'm gonna go.
Send us away.
Let's get out of here.
Peace.